Streetbeefs, Luis here, Killa B. I just wanted to get my word in on this topic of prejudging the fights and, you know, it being a different experience than what you think. It definitely will be. You know, you can, I for sure didn't think it was gonna be easy, but I didn't think it was gonna be that hard either. You know, it was a really tough challenge. You know, and I say that coming from 4 years of experience of training experience. You know, of hard sparring. I used to train six days a week, and even then, you know, that was hard, man. It was draining, bro. It was difficult. You know, it may not look like it, but because the first two fights were so short. But for that same reason, you should take a look. The first two fights were so short, and I was gassed out. I was gassed out by that last one. So that alone says it, you know. There's a saying for you OG martial artists out there, by Jackie Chan himself, saying, "He who knows does not speak, and he who speaks does not know." So therefore, sorry to say it, but if you never fought in there, if you never been in there, you know, don't go saying you're gonna whoop everybody, you're gonna have your way, because it's not gonna go out and it's not gonna play out how you are in your head. You know, be real about it, be logical. You know, you can have all this confidence you want, but it ain't gonna affect the reality of what's gonna happen that day you get in there, because everything is gonna affect you, from the crowd, from your opponent. And not saying don't be confident, I'm just saying don't be overconfident, you know. Be humble about it. And don't prejudge either, because prejudging the fights is like prejudging the whole Streetbeefs group as a whole. You know, prejudging the fighters, prejudging face, you know, prejudging everybody. You know, it's okay to have confidence, but if you've never fought in the yard, if you have nothing to show for it, don't yap, buddy. Don't yap. It's just how it is. I'm sorry. But yeah, from experience, it ain't how you think it is gonna be in there, man. It's a different experience. It's difficult. But I love Streetbeefs. You guys stay up. Shout out to Face. Shout out to Sunshine. Shout out to Bestaban. Shout out to Corey. Streetbeefs is where it's at.
What up, Streetbeefs fam? I'm gonna do a quick little video. What Face was talking about your first time in the yard. Or not even your first time, just whenever. But I can speak from experience that it is a lot harder than it looks. I mean, granted, I've been in a lot of street fights. I mean, I'm known around my neighborhood for fighting my whole life, especially a lot back in my younger years. I was in a fight every weekend, you know. And I've done good. I've done good in street fights. I've never really had my ass kicked in a street fight, to be honest with you. But I arrived to the yard, drive 4.5 hours, stop at Walmart, buy one of them boiling bite mouthpieces, didn't even mold it. I just put the bitch in. I thought I was gonna go in here and wreck shop. You know, that was my training thought at the time. And even after I seen my opponent, all credit to Wild Bill. I've said this before. I've said it to him. I've said it to Coach Scholl and everybody. When they named my opponent, I even told my cousin, I was like, man, my dog's crazy. I was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this dude. That's what I told my cousin. I said, I'm gonna fuck this dude up, man. This is gonna be fun. Alright, so I get in the ring. First thing, adrenaline dump. My legs feel like they weigh 500 pounds. It was almost like a outer body experience, you know what I'm saying? But fight starts, and I quickly realized that I don't know how to box. Even footwork and spacing, distance. I was like, okay, how do I hit this motherfucker without rushing him? You know what I'm saying? I'm used to either the one quick knockout blow, or I'll take him to the ground, pound him out, or choke him out in street fights. I'm like, he's had a little boxing training before. I had no boxing training. This is my first time putting on gloves. But my train of thought was, I'm going to beat this dude's ass. That's what I was thinking. And I found out right quick. It's a lot harder than it looks. Boxing is a lot different than a street fight. Because, like I said, I thought I was going to go in there and wreck shop like I always do. That was not the case. I found out right quick that I do not know how to box, and I need a lot of training. So yeah, like Luis said, all you internet tough guys, don't go flapping them gums just because you out here busting heads on the street. That don't mean a motherfucking thing. I will tell you straight up facts. Whole lot different when you get in that cage in a real boxing match.
What's up, Street Beefs? Joshua Miller here, aka the Celtic Hammer. Just kind of giving some insight to my Street Beefs experience. You know, I grew up getting in a lot of fights, and you know, as I got older and got bigger, you know, people still tried to test me pretty often. So I'm no strangers to fights. Came across Street Beefs on Facebook, and I saw that you could sign up for fights. Found out that it was in Northern Virginia. So at the time I was living in Florida. It was about 20 minutes away from me. I'm sorry, 20 hours away from me. So I signed up for a fight. The only fight that worked for my schedule though was a small event, which was gonna be boxing only, which is not really what I wanted to do, but I felt confident going in. I knew my toughness and I knew my power, and I knew that I didn't have much technique as far as boxing goes, but I was welcome to the challenge. You know, I'd watched a couple hundred Street Beef videos and I figured I'd be all right, but you know, so go up there. It's about 1,000 feet above sea level, whereas I trained at sea level in Florida, and it was single digit temperatures, whereas I was, you know, used to training at about 90 degrees, which made a big difference. But anyway, so I hop in the ring, and you know, I feel confident still. And then within about the first probably 30 seconds, I realized that, you know, the fight wasn't going to be as easy as I thought it was. You know, I got called a couple times early, and you know, I'm more of an MMA fighter, so I'm extremely out of my element, you know, standing up. You know, I do better when there's grappling involved. But you know, first round was pretty much all him. Second round, I was getting some clean hits and I got my nose broke in the second round. And then I ended up dropping him in the second round. And then, you know, it was an all-out brawl. And Scarface was really concerned about our safety. You know, he wanted to end it after the second round and call it a draw, but I wanted to, you know, I wanted to finish. I came 20 hours to fight. I wanted to finish. So third round was fairly even, and you know, Street Beefs is all about toughness. You know, I broke my nose. He tore something in his shoulder, and we didn't stop swinging. And you know, the trolls can say what they want, but none of them would step in there with me or him. And you know, if they had any kind of skill, they wouldn't be trolling on amateur fights on the internet. So, you know, that's an open invitation to anybody that wants to see me in the yard. You know, if they feel they can do better, you know, feel free to hop in, but it's a lot tougher than it looks. And you know, the guys there are skilled and they are tough. So.
Hey, how's it going? It's Kyle, or the Viking. If you've seen my fights, then you probably know me by that. This video is just my thoughts on Street Beefs as an organization before and after I competed and, you know, actually got into this and things like that. And I'll admit, at first, my expectations of Street Beefs were not high at all. And you know, I went into it thinking, oh, you know, this is just going to be some disorganized backyard fight club with, you know, some dudes they pulled off the street. And, you know, I went in there, I wasn't sweating, I wasn't thinking anything of it really. And I scheduled my first fight for January 4th. And I walked in, wasn't at all, you know, what I expected it to be, you know, at all. It was very organized, the way they run it, and, you know, how they match you up and everything like that. Because I expected them to just push me into the ring and say, have fun and, you know, go for it. But, you know, it wasn't like that at all. They get your weight, they match you up based on skill. It's very, very professional, very well ran, as opposed to a lot of people and how a lot of people think it's ran. But yeah, it was insane, and the level of competition they have, you know, a level of competition for everybody. There's guys that have been, you know, training for years, and there's guys that just want to go in there and test their mettle, and they have a fight for everybody. It's insane. Like me, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been training in MMA for a couple of years, and I fought 4 times in the yard now, and each one of my fights, you know, has been pretty tough and had hard time. Like it's not just, you know, some average guys just going in there and, you know, having fun. There's definitely, you know, pretty high levels of competition involved in street beefs. And so yeah, after my first fight, my thoughts on street beefs definitely flipped 180. Just it's very well ran, and now that I'm sure I don't even know the half of what goes on behind the scenes, but just, you know, in the Facebook group and things like that, the things I see for street beefs, like, you know, the steps that they take to improve the organization and make it better for the fighters and everybody watching is insane. And you know, it's crazy. But yeah, those are my thoughts on, you know, before and after I competed in street beefs. And it's just probably, you know, one of the best organizations I've ever seen in terms of like unsanctioned things like that. You know, it's a good opportunity for fighters to get their name out there. You know, they have a huge platform for people to just, you know, and that's for anybody. If people just, you know, want to come out and have fun and fight, that's they can do that, you know. Or people like me who want it to, you know, help them get exposure and also, you know, just help get your name out there and things like that. It's an amazing platform for that. And that's what a lot of people on YouTube don't see is what they do, you know, for their fighters and how it helps, you know. And it definitely helps fighters a lot to, you know, get recognized and get noticed and things like that. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on Street Beefs, you know, as an organization before and after I've competed now. So yeah.
Street Beefs, what's up? It's Thick Boy. Wanted to describe my first time in the yard. I think it was April 6, 2019. So some of my preconceived notions about what the yard would be like was that I'm not a street person at all. Did not grow up living that life. Not a real big fighter. I trained 1 month for my first fight. I should have definitely trained a lot more. Gassed out 30 seconds, but my big preconceived idea of what it would be like was that there was going to be a whole lot of shit talking. It was going to be a rough crowd. That was not the case. Everyone was extremely approachable. There was I didn't see any animosity. Everybody, it was solemn. It was professional. It was people were there to do something and put on a good show, have a lot of fun. Everybody was super nice. Not something you expect to. It was, my ideas were completely unverifiable. I shouldn't have thought. I took things at face value, and walked away with a bunch of new friends. Really, really a once in a lifetime experience. I've been back since. I love it. I miss it. And you do it, and it takes a lot more than you think. A lot more. You have to put everything you have to give into it. So if I could tell somebody any advice before they go in the ring for boxing or MMA, get that cardio up, because you're going to need it. It doesn't matter who you're facing. You're going to need your cardio. All right. Ramadan Mubarak.
What's up, Street Beefs? It's Demon Monsoon Mystic. I'm doing this video for Christopher Wilmore. He had asked to have some of the fighters shoot videos about their experience, their first time going to Street Beefs, how they thought, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to share with you my experience. I have a different way of seeing things because of my condition, but what was really cool, when I first saw Street Beefs, I was like, I think I could do this. And I was a little cocky, and I was like, oh, I don't know, a little nervous, scared. But Sunshine and everyone was saying, you got this, go. And I trained a little bit, went down to the yard, met Scarface, met everybody, met Danny Shaw, Corey Walsh. you know, they put me in a ring against somebody who had about the same experience as I did in training, and I had the time of my life. And afterwards, after the first round, guys, my legs were shot. I was like, oh man. But I kept going because it was fun. After the nerves were gone, it was like, yes! And then, you know, the rest is history. After the fight, I wanted to fight again, and here I am now. But what I love about Streetbeefs, and I mean this sincerely, is the way this organization has grown in the last year. We went from the original Saints backyard to where we are now. It's amazing. And they also take really good care of fighters. They match you up, guys, by your height, your weight, your experience. And if they don't like something, they'll call it. The EMTs are phenomenal. They're great. This is a great organization. Scarface looks out for his fighters. And that's the most important thing. Like, he cares for each and every one of us. So, when I look back on that first fight, I'm like, wow, that started everything. And now, a year later, it's like, holy cow. Streetbeefs has just exploded, and it continues to grow. So when you go there, don't have that cocky attitude. Be humble, because, you know, you win some, you lose some. That's boxing. So anyway, that's my view on how my first fight was and how Streetbeefs has changed me. It's changing me to the person I am now. It's letting me be who I am, and that's the big thing. They took somebody who was different, crazier, and said, yo, we love this guy. And you guys have helped me grow and mature. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Hey, y'all, this is Andrew Britt, a.k.a. Swamp Donkey. Just stopping in to give y'all a little tidbit on what my experience was in the yard. I started watching Streetbeefs about a year ago this time, and instantly hooked. I was instantly hooked to the movement of nonviolence and taking it to the yard to fight it out man to man. And so in the beginning, I wasn't even thinking about fighting, period. And so I was trying to think of ways that maybe I could help out and bring something to Streetbeefs to help and you know, give what I could as far as support that way. And it ended up being that I could transport fighters from, you know, guys that would fly into Richmond or Dulles. I'd give them a fight to the yard, give them a ride to the yard, excuse me. But after the first time I was there, now I'm going to tell y'all, watching it online, on YouTube, or on the Facebook page, that's one thing. But I'm going to tell you something. When you stand outside that cage and you actually there and you experience a day of fights, there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. And so as far as being hooked, I was hooked line and sinker after the first time that I took the fighters up there. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. I've been trying to lose weight for years, and so I figured, you know, this would be a good way that I could lose some weight. I could train, lose weight. And so I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that I didn't have any respect for my opponent. I had a lot of respect for my opponent. It could have been anybody. But going into the ring, I didn't think I was going to have a hard time, a real hard time, even at my weight. And I went in at 537. My cardio is okay, even at 537. I have no health problems, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, anything like that. I'm just a big fat dude. And Face asked me probably 50 times, are you sure? Are you sure? Do you have any health problems? You know, this, I mean, you know, and no, I don't. You know something? When you step in that cage, the inside of that cage looks a whole lot different from the inside to out than it does from the outside to in. And when you get in there and that door locks behind you, it gets real quick. Real quick. It gets real quick. You know, you look across the yard And I mean, you're basically seeing a guy, and you know, a million thoughts are going through your head. You're gonna have to find a way for you to stop this guy running through you and beating your ass. Okay. So, actually getting in the cage, it's a totally different view. Your view changes instantly. And, you know, we met in the middle, and, we touched gloves. And I'm going to tell you something. The first 2 hits that he hit me, I didn't even see coming. And at that point, I knew that I had to like go all out and just like, you know, this is my opinion for not having any experience. I said, you know what? I'm just going to start wailing, and I'm going to go till I can't go anymore. And then hopefully he doesn't hurt me. And so that's what happened. I started wailing, and I felt like he was coming with a right hook, so I was going to try to step to the side, and when I tried to step to the side, I went down. And that's when I broke my arm. But I'm here to tell you that it's not easy. And it's not as easy as these guys make it look. I mean, these guys, you know, they get in there and they take these punches, and you think, I had this false sense of security maybe because the gloves, they don't look as hard as they feel. They look kind of soft, you know what I'm saying? So when you're standing outside and people are taking punches, yeah, I mean, you can feel the impact of the punches on the outside of the yard. And, man, it's totally different when you get in there. In all respect to Born, Ryan Mombre, he's my boy, man. We've gotten kind of close since then. And much respect to him. But I'm going to tell you, man, be ready before you get in that yard. Don't come with a false perception of that you might not get hurt or you'll just be okay. I mean, there's more to it than that. And is that me being naive? I'm not sure. But I'm just telling you what my experience was. Peace out, y'all. Be safe. Guns down, gloves up. Street Beefs for life.